This presentation provides an overview of the community outreach and community working group that was established for the Public Road Corridor Project. In February 2018, the city and the project team identified a community outreach event, which is a walking tour for Public Road. And so it was on a Saturday in February. It was notified beforehand on the city's website, through social media, and then flyers that went up. And the idea was to get a wide group of community members to come out and actually explore and tour the corridor. And so that happened in February 2018 in advance of any applications for the community working group, in advance of launching the project. It was just a way to get the word out about the corridor. In addition to the walking tour, city staff went door to door with businesses along Public Road and notified them of the opportunity to apply for a community working group that would actually guide the project during the 6 months that the city would be working with a team of designers. The applications that were received from the working group, there were 28 of them. The notifications went out both in English and Spanish in the corridor and at different events that you just saw. The following is a composition of who applied for the working group. So 57% of the applicants were men, 43% were women. The application group also included 54% of either folks who own a business or own property in Old Town, so Old Town businesses are residents. 32% had some kind of form of design background. 21% were either were former or current city board or council members. And 32% were new to a city process that had never been involved in anything before from a city perspective. Based on the 28 applicants, there was a process to determine equal distribution on the group, and then a size that made sense for having enough people in the room to be able to collaboratively work together. And so ultimately 17 members were selected, and this is the composition of the selection. So trying to grab an equal split between men and women. 71% were either Old Town businesses or Old Town residents, and in this context, 71% of these folks, they didn't have to be owners in this case. So there were some residents who lived in Old Town but didn't rent, and they were included within the Friends of Public Road Working Group. 24% were design professionals, 24% were a former city council member or on a city board. And then this group had a little higher percentage of folks who had been new to a process. So about 47% of the people in the working group are new to the City of Lafayette's engagement and process. The roles of this working group, the Friends of Public Road Working Group, are outlined here. Their first role is to provide input during the design process. Their second role is to provide feedback and kind of trying to get from this diverse points of view feedback to the city's designers as they prepare these plans. They're offering an advisory role on this process about transportation improvements, and they're giving feedback as these plans are getting prepared for City Council consideration. So there was an initial meeting in March 2018. This was their first meeting. They worked on goals, visions, and also existing conditions in the corridor. So reviewing those and thinking about how those apply to possible design choices. There was a meeting in April 2018, and they reviewed design choices, and they did a series of exercises where they evaluated opportunities and constraints related to those design choices. There are 2 other meetings upcoming for the community working group, and their work will ultimately be brought to City Council as a recommendation and consideration for moving ahead with changes on Public Road.